everyone, I'm Victoria. It's a pleasure to be here. I grew up in Hampstead, New Hampshire, so I was a student at the Hampstead Middle School up until 5th grade, so it's great to be here. You guys having a good day so far? Yeah. All right, good to know. Anyways, so I thought I would share with you my story and hopefully you guys enjoy it. I was, as you can see, I'm in a wheelchair. It's pretty obvious. And I wasn't always in a wheelchair. At 11 years old, I was a typical, athlete student at the Hampstead Middle School, and I had everything going for me. But my health had started to decline with little bits of pneumonia here and there. I had fainting spells. I was constantly sick. You remember that? Constantly. This is Mrs. Chaff, by the way. She's been with our family through it all. So it was just little symptoms here and there. And in April of 2006, my life changed forever. I woke to strange pains in the side of my body, and what was questioned as appendicitis soon turned into something way more than that. Within 2 weeks, I had lost 30 pounds, and my legs had stopped supporting me. So I went to bed perfectly fine and woke up, and my legs had stopped working. And within 2 weeks, I became completely paralyzed from the waist down. And after hospital after hospital, no one could give us a definite answer. So it went within 1 day, my life was completely changed. And it didn't stop there. Unfortunately, because no one could figure out my diagnosis, my health continued to spiral downhill. I soon went to being unable to speak, and then I couldn't eat. And then next thing I know, my hands had stopped working, and I was completely dependent on other people to help take care of me. It took 3 years before we were able to find a definite answer on what was going on. And within those 3 years, I'd become a complete vegetable. I couldn't do anything. You name it, that was taken away. And unfortunately, my parents were being told that I wasn't going to make it, and if I did make it, I'd be a vegetable the rest of my life. And basically telling my parents to give up because there was no chance of me ever coming back. And the diagnosis was transverse myelitis, which is a rare neurological condition of the spine. Unfortunately, due to the severity and the fact that this condition is so rare, there was nothing they could do about it. So they basically kind of told my parents, she's either going to die or she's going to be a vegetable. Those are your two outcomes, nothing else. And my parents didn't take that. They never gave up, and my mother took me home and basically set up a hospital room in our living room and just nursed me back. She refused, my whole family refused to let me go. And I'm a triplet. So I have 2 brothers my age and an older brother, so I'm very close with them, and they refused to give up on me. And even though on the outside I looked like I was not there, I was gone, I wasn't. I was actually locked inside of my body. So I clearly knew and heard what was going on, I just couldn't communicate it. So I was basically, for 3 years, would sit back and watch what doctors would say, watch my body slowly shut down, but I couldn't verbalize it. I couldn't tell people that I was in pain. I couldn't tell people what I was feeling. But on the inside, I was like, no, I'm here. I'm not away. I'm here. You have to listen to me. But no one could figure it out, but my mom knew. And my family knew I was still there. And so once a lot of my major symptoms were treated, such as seizures and spasticity, I was able to relearn how to somewhat communicate. I was able to get control of my eyelids so I could communicate with my eyes. So my mom would ask me a question, and I would blink for yes and squint for no. And that was how, after a lot of yes and no questions, it took my brother Cam, who was like, how are you today? And I was like, there's no blink for I'm good. But it took just a lot of trial and error, and my family knew I was there. And it slowly, I had to learn how to do everything. I had to relearn how to talk. I believe my first word was hi, but I couldn't make the H sound, so it was more like I. But my mom knew I was, oh, that sounded really bad. But my mom heard it every day, and she knew that I was speaking. And I learned how to talk, and then I learned how to eat again, which when you go 5 years without eating, it is the best thing in the entire world. I love food. Do you like food? I love food. I missed food. And my dad, when I was in the hospital, would turn on the cooking channel, not knowing that I was clearly aware what was going on. So here's the kid who can't eat is watching the cooking channel and completely dying because I just want to go out and eat a steak dinner. But he's just unbeknownst to me that I'm there. And of course, when you go 5 years without eating, there's a lot of muscle atrophy. So I was like ready for a steak dinner. I wanted that, but I had to settle for pudding and Jell-O and slowly work my way up. And next thing, I had to use my hands again because I had spasms, so my arms were like this, and I was completely locked up. But after rehab and I had to have 20 injections in each arm of Botox, which is snake venom, but it releases spasticity. So I could, before when I would try to communicate, I would use my fist, so punching people was kind of like, hey, but now I could actually like wave my hands and pinch my fingers and write for the first time. I got to write my name, which was really cool. And slowly, I kind of was introduced back into the world. But the hardest problem was that I went away as an 11-year-old and woke up as a 15-year-old. And as you can imagine, a lot happens in those 4 years. So the world kept going while I was there. And a lot of people, I had a lot of friends forget about me. I had people just completely oh, Victoria, there you are. So it was very hard to be introduced back into the world. And the thing with me is when I was so sick, and I remember it so vividly, I just wanted to live. Because everyone dreams of going to prom, everyone dreams of having a boyfriend, of going to school and playing their sports and stuff. And I wanted to live. And I think when I did live and when I was able to kind of fight back, that was on my mind. My mindset was to get my life back. Nobody wants to be dependent on others. So I worked day and night to get my life back. And my mom at one point was like, okay, let's slow down, Victoria, let's take baby steps. And I was like, no, let's do some exercises, let's do some more eating, let's do stuff like that. And slowly it got me back and a lot faster. I mean, we would go to doctors and I'd be like, hello, I'm Victoria. And they were just like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, you were supposed to, and I'm like, you're not a vegetable. I eat vegetables now, but I'm not a vegetable anymore. And they were dumbfounded, but it just shows, don't categorize someone and give up on someone. I had every excuse in the entire world to just sit back and settle for my condition. My parents could have sit back and settled. They could have put me just in an institution and just kind of left me there, but they didn't. We fought back. And so I managed to go back into high school. I missed 5 years of school. So I missed all of my middle school pretty much, and I was thrown into the midst of high school, and I was a freshman, but I was supposed to be a sophomore because my brothers were sophomores. And I was like, oh, no. This is not okay. I am not going to be the one left behind when I've always been the queen bee of the triplets. Like, I'm the leader here. I'm not going to be left for one more year. So after nagging my guidance counselors, I was able to double up my courses to now I am set to graduate on time with my brothers, and I did it in 3 years. So that's pretty cool. And, I think I kind of threw my school for a loop because if you were to look at my school, I mean, the only education I had up until then was 5th grade. So they looked at me and they're like, we need to put her in like low classes and kind of ease her back in. And I was like, no, like put me in college prep. I'm going to graduate on time with my brothers. And they were just like, we're setting her up to fail. So it's really funny how people tend to but it was just like the doctors. They looked at my scans, they looked at my current condition and just said, it's a lost cause. And these teachers at first were like, let's just get her through it, but let's not challenge her, let's not give her a goal. And me, I'm all about goals. I like to work hard. That's my athleticism being put to good use. It was with my sports, it was fighting for my life, and it was fighting to get my life back. And sports was another story. Before I got paralyzed and before all of this stuff happened, I was a sports junkie. Sports were my thing. That's what I do. That's what kept me going. And that was the hardest news I received, was when I was told I'd be paralyzed and all this stuff that happened. That one the only thing I could focus on was the fact that I would never be able to play a sport again. So that was the hardest thing, because imagine, we all have passions, right? You guys have passions? Yeah? Imagine that being stripped away and told you can't do that anymore. What are you gonna do? It kind of sucks, right? A little bit? Yeah. But, and so that was the hardest thing, and I only just discovered that people in wheelchairs could do sports, which is the Paralympics. Have any of you guys heard of the Paralympics? Yeah? You guys like them? They're pretty cool? Me too. So I started, I discovered sled hockey. Now, do you guys know what sled hockey is? Yeah? You've seen a lot of it? Yeah, so I started with sled hockey, and being from a hockey family, this was pretty cool. You could go and hit boys and just be violent and play hockey, and it was great because I was an athlete again. And I was a swimmer beforehand, but I realized I was like, no, I can't swim without my legs, I'll drown. I mean, have you guys ever tried swimming without your legs? You just sink, just down. So I mean, being from a swimming family, I was like, not going near the pool, staying away. And it actually took my triplet brother, Will, strapping a life jacket on me and throwing me into our pool that got me back into swimming. Because he was like, look, Victoria, okay, you're not gonna die. Because I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna drown. You're like, this is not gonna work out. And my brother's like, you just fought back for your life and you can't even just put one foot in the pool. And I was like, yep, I'm a pansy. And he ended up throwing me back in, and I started unwillingly. I took lessons again just to be safe in the pool, because we're up at lakes, we're near pools. If I was ever to be thrown in or to fall in, I would be safe. And so after that, I was convinced to compete in my first competition. And then this time last year, I went to my first Paralympic swim meet, and it was definitely an experience. I ended up qualifying for the national team and breaking my first record. So it was pretty not expected. I went in with the mindset to my mom, like, all right, because they all convinced me to go. I was like, okay, Mom, I'll go, but I'm gonna bomb. So this will be my last hurrah, and then I'm going to focus on hockey. And my mom was just like, okay, Victoria. Like, all right. And she knew. But then after that, I was like, wait, I can go far with this. And at that time, I had heard about the London Games. You guys heard about London Olympics? Yeah? I heard about that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to make the London team. And I was at this kind of big meet for New England, and this guy came up to me. And I told him, he was asking me my goals, and I said, now at this point, I had only been really swimming off and on for a couple months. And he said to me, he's like, Victoria, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to make it to London, I want to go for gold and stuff like that. And he looked at me, swear to God, looked at me and said, sweetie, you don't stand a chance. I say you stop the sport now and maybe try for the next Olympics, because you're just setting yourself up for fail. Like, just don't even try. It's not. Just don't. You can't do it. And I was like, why not? Like, you're not the coach. Like, I can do it. And he just completely just shut it down, shut any explanation down. And now I'm sure all of you guys have had a passion or a goal, and somebody somewhere has shut them down. Am I right? Or told you you were okay, maybe, or didn't take you seriously, or just totally was like, no. Think of another passion, do another sport, you're never gonna go that far. Am I right? Has that happened? Can you raise your hand? So I'm not alone? Yeah. And then what'd you do about it? Did you listen to them? No. Did you go after it? Yeah, because that's what you do. When you have a passion and you have a goal, you go after it. And that's what I chose. I chose to go after it. I'm like, I'll show you. And so next thing you know, I mean, it took my mom also giving me a little pep talk as well. And next thing you know, I made it to the trials. I broke 2 world records, and I qualified for the team. And that was 8 months after that guy told me that. And here, I wasn't capable of doing that. And so I just thought I'd take it another step higher, and I was like, I'm gonna go for gold. I am going to just go after it and completely shut all these people down, because they were saying, okay, well, you have no experience, Victoria, so just go to the games, get a feel for it, maybe you'll do well. And so I was like, okay, all right, just listen, be polite. If people tell you can't do something, be polite. Don't like scream in their face or anything, just be polite. And that's what I did, and then I just went up there and I was like, you know what, I have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And it ended up being very successful for me. I won 3 silvers and 1 gold and broke a world record. And I'll show you the gold. I don't know the medal up here. This is the gold. So, yeah, pretty cool. So the point that I'm getting across is we all have dreams, we have passions, and we have goals. And there's too many people in this world that feed off of negative energy, feed off of watching other people suffer or watching other people be miserable. And what I'm trying to get out there, whether you're young or old, if you have a passion, if you have a dream, whether it be, okay, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be an Olympian, or something like that, too many times people will tell us, no, don't go after it. Don't set yourself up to fail. I had more people tell me I couldn't do it, that I wouldn't live, that, okay, when I did live, I was going to be a vegetable the rest of my life. If I was going to be a vegetable, if I got past that I wasn't going to be normal ever again. And when I was swimming, people told me I would never have a chance. I didn't stand a chance. And you can't listen to that. You can't listen. Yeah, you might be given, it might be hard work. You might put all your blood, sweat, and tears into this, but at least you can prove whether you're capable or not, and not let someone else tell you before you've even tried. And I have a motto that I say before any challenges or any goals that I want to achieve. It's face it, embrace it, defy it, and conquer it. So you face that goal, you face that challenge, you embrace it. You have to embrace that and just kind of completely just like, yeah. And then you defy it. So defy every odds someone puts up against you. Defy someone saying you can't do it. And then you conquer it. I conquered mine, and you can too. That's the thing is, you need to believe in the beauty of your dreams. You need to believe in what is put on your heart and what you feel you need to do for this world. And I know middle school is a tough age, where you're trying to find yourself, you're dealing with a lot of different kids and stuff, but it gets better, and you need to stay true to yourself, true to your dreams, and true to whoever you want to be in this world, because you're great and you're capable of doing great, amazing things in this world, whatever it may be.